Hi, Scottish Gran back again after a wee break there. And I'm back with another one of my wee stories. Some will have heard it before, but again, it's stories about when I was very young in a very changed time. It used to be that married women working outside the home was a rare occurrence. Being a good housewife was seen as most important. Thrifty housekeeper, laundry whiter than the rest, steps scrubbed, well for most. Ginny lived in the rows with us. She never seemed to have the same burdens as her mothers and always had time for the children. She lived on her own. Apparently she was not widowed, nor did she act like an old maid. They always appeared stuffy and aloof. But then Ginny didn't live by herself all the time. In fact, Ginny had quite a lot of husbands. They just didn't stay with her the same way her dads did with us. I remember after I got some sweets from one of Ginny's husbands, saying to my mother and her horror that I thought having different dads was a good idea. Ginny scandalised everybody. She encouraged us to call her by her first name, unheard of. It was either Mr., Mrs. or Miss, and if not, a clip round the ear if you forgot yourself. My mother didn't altogether approve of Ginny. She would purse her lips when she spoke of her, and she would say, "I wouldn't do her a bad turn, but, you know," and she was referred to as flighty. Despite this, my mother never forbade me to visit with her, but she would come and fetch me and say to my father, there they were, all they bairns sitting in that house, eating a biscuit and ashes out to the carpet, furniture, never seen a lick of duster, you could steer it with a stick. And fortunately all of this was true. I do remember the house, and to call it untidy, well, that would actually be a kindness. But she didn't seem to care. She always was cheerful, she laughed a lot, and she told silly stories, sounding even funnier to us because of her thick English accent. She would listen to her woes and her perceived injustices with a sympathetic nod. I had blonde, very curly hair, which I hated. "Don't worry," she would say, "you've got the bonniest hair of the lot." Many years later, some of the old neighbours met, and they fell to talking about the others from long ago. "I wonder what happened to Lon Ginny. Do you remember her?" "Aye, she did a moonlight flit. Went back home to England, I heard. Took up with somebody." "I don't know, you could be right. An odd biddy, shame too. She was out floating about, a wee bit alone her." I hoped she did go back to England. I hoped that she wouldn't be lonely anymore. And I do hope that fate was kind to her. She always was to me.